Right, let's check what my changes have done. Well, the gearbox works now, so we'll straight away see if it's going to take off in high range now. Last time it barely moved in low range and reverse. So after driving it around a bit, I discovered we've actually got a problem. It drives quite fine in low range and in reverse, but the minute you put it into a high range, it's fine until you climb up a hill. Once you're going up a hill, it instantly starts to slip. It's got a knocking feeling when you're driving it, which is a clear indication that there's something wrong with the gearbox. Somewhere in here one of the gears have stripped. So I'm going to have to open around here, maybe even remove the complete transmission. We shall see. Not going to be the easiest job, but it needs to be done, so let's get to it. I'm not sure if I actually should remove this or not. I think it's just going to actually at the end of the day be in my way, so I'm probably better off removing the brake lever. Right, well, as you can see, there's really nothing to see here. That gear planet simply operates this mechanism, which obviously operates the gearbox. But I do see me having to take this slot off. we go. There's the gearbox for you. So obviously your first gear will be your reverse. It's got a third gear here to counter the rotation. So if the first one is reverse, we'll take it off, bearings, everything. I will need somewhere to put all the stuff. So this is actually a very simple gearbox. I mean, it's only got 3 gears. Reverse and 2 forward speeds. So it shouldn't be too difficult. Right, I will need to pull out. That is the, I'm trying to think of the right name now. The drum. And these are the shifter pins. So I'm going to pull out the rod here that holds the shifter pins in place. That's the rod that holds them in place. There's the shifter fork number 1. Still looks in good condition. I'll put it back in its place. Shifter number 2 is further in, so I will leave it for now. This is the spindle on which the shifter runs. As you can see, stuff actually looks in very good condition, and it meshes with the reverse gear. I see the rest all comes out in one unit, which is very nice. So let's see what happened. Here's the other fork. It actually looks in good condition too. We will not fiddle with that. They actually look identical. Yeah, they're pretty identical. Right, I can already see the problem here. It's typical what happens to all gearboxes. I've seen it in motorcycles. Now it's in a quad. I will need to disassemble this whole gearbox here, so I need a circular pliers for that. Be careful of these things, they have a knack of going flying. Right, so let's carefully remove that. Just leave it as it was there. So here you can see the problem we've got. Let's do a close up here. So this is low range gear. As you can see, the actual dogs on there, they're very clean. Now if I look at high range, you can straight away see how that ends have been round off. If I compare it on the actual gear, once again, which causes that to jump and jump and jump. So the only way to fix that will be to grind that off now. Not too difficult in this case. Right, in order to fix this, you can actually see now that I've cleaned it. You can see how those edges are rounded off. Same on the other end of the dog. There and there. So this is simple. It's easy accessible. I will just take a file and file away. I will basically file that piece. So essentially this will become shorter, but that roundness will be away. This side on the other end, you could take a round file and go in there. Alternatively, I can just use my Dremel tool and grind the slot a little bit deeper, and it will actually clean that away. Now The secret to doing this is when this comes out the factory, this is all 90-degree angles inside there. So it gives it the possibility that even when it's in gear to actually slip out. What I'm now going to do is I'm actually going to go to slightly, let's call it 91 degrees in. So that angle will be inwards. And then the same with the dog. I'll take the file and I'll file it this way. Essentially now giving this end the edge like that and this edge like that. So now what happens when these engage, they're going to solidly engage and they cannot pull out at all. This is what we call undercutting gears. In this case, because it's a gearbox that's not changed while you're driving, you have to come to a standstill to change it. It will work perfectly well. In the case of a motorcycle or a vehicle, it's not really recommended because it can cause a few shifting patterns while driving. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Dremel and I'm going to grind away. Excuse the noises, that's the compressor running in the background. My little Dremel tools, the Aeon. You can already see it's already scuffed up the surface a bit if you compare to the surface beforehand. It's just a time-consuming process. No, you can't rush this. Also the gears are very, very hard metal, so best is just to take your time, and it gets there. Doesn't actually take that long either. You'll notice as I'm grinding away, I'm doing it at a slight inwards angle, which gives it the inwards cut, like I explained earlier on. Right, now you can take a closer look up. You can straight away see how clean that surface looks compared with the surface next to it. The surface next to it's all round. This one's got nice square angles to it. Right, it's time to test it out now that I've assembled everything and see how the gearbox works. Hopefully no more issues this time. And off we go. And back I come. And everything worked flawlessly. Perfect. So I'm very happy with that. So that pretty much concludes the rebuild of the squad. There's a few more little things I will do in a final video, and then we'll take it for a ride as well. Cheers, and thank you for watching.